chosen one, you don't need to brace yourself this time. You don't need to stay on guard, waiting for the next hit, the next disappointment, the next thing to go wrong. Something is changing in the atmosphere around your life, and it's not loud, dramatic, or forceful. It's gentle. And that's how you'll know it's real. You've survived years that required strength you didn't even know you had. Seasons where being strong wasn't a choice. It was a requirement. You woke up tired, went to sleep exhausted, and still showed up the next day because you had no other option. And for a long time, life felt like it only responded to you when you were in survival mode. As if peace was something other people were allowed to have. But not you. But 2026 is not approaching you with clenched fists. It's not coming to test your endurance or prove how tough you are. It's coming with open hands. And for the first time in a long time, you're not being asked to fight for every small thing. You're being invited to receive. There is a difference between a year that challenges you and a year that carries you. And this next one is the second kind. You may already feel hints of it. Small moments where your nervous system finally relaxes. Situations that would have once overwhelmed you but now don't hit the same way. Conversations that feel lighter. Decisions that don't require overthinking. That's not because you stopped caring. It's because you've already learned the lessons that pain was trying to teach you. You were pushed into maturity early. You had to understand things before your time. You had to let go of expectations, people, and versions of life you once believed were meant for you. And for a while it felt unfair, like you were always the one sacrificing comfort so others could stay comfortable. Always the one adapting while everyone else stayed the same. But here's what you didn't realize back then: those hard years were not meant to be your permanent address. They were training grounds. And now that the training is complete, the environment is changing. Kindness doesn't always show up as gifts or sudden miracles. Sometimes it shows up as ease, as things not breaking anymore, as problems resolving themselves without you having to beg, chase, or overextend, as people meeting you halfway instead of you doing all the emotional labor. In 2026, you'll notice that life stops asking you to prove yourself. You don't need to explain your worth. You don't need to convince anyone of your intentions. The right things will recognize you without effort, and the wrong things will quietly fall away without drama. This year is about relief. The kind that makes you pause and think, why does this feel simpler than before? It's because the resistance that once followed you is no longer assigned to your path. You were never weak for feeling tired. You were just carrying too much for too long. And now the weight is being redistributed. There are people who won't understand this version of you. The calmer one, the one who doesn't react as quickly, the one who doesn't feel the need to explain every choice. But that's because they only knew you in survival mode. They don't recognize you in peace. And peace will become familiar to you this year. You're stepping into a season where rest is not something you earn after burnout. It's something that accompanies you as you move forward. Where productivity doesn't cost you your health. Where growth doesn't require constant pain. This is a year of gentle rebuilding. Not starting from scratch, but restoring what was worn down. Your confidence, your trust in timing. Your ability to enjoy moments without waiting for them to end badly. You're allowed to believe that something good can last. For a long time, you expected loss because loss was consistent. You learned to prepare for disappointment because it felt safer than hoping. But 2026 will challenge that mindset, not by punishing it, but by slowly proving it wrong. You'll have moments where you realize you're not anxious about the future anymore, where you're not replaying the past as often, where you're actually present. And that presence will feel unfamiliar at first because you're not used to calm, but you'll grow into it. This is also a year where you stop blaming yourself for what didn't work out. You'll finally see that some things failed not because you weren't enough, but because they were never meant to continue with you. And instead of grief, that realization will bring peace. Kindness looks like clarity, and clarity is coming. You won't need signs screamed at you anymore. You'll just know. Decisions will feel settled instead of chaotic. You'll trust yourself again, and that trust will attract the right circumstances naturally. This year isn't about dramatic transformation that shocks everyone around you. It's about internal alignment that stabilizes you. People may not notice immediately, but you will, and that's what matters. You've spent enough time being strong. Now it's time to be supported by better timing, supported by healthier connections, supported by a sense that you're no longer running out of time, that your life isn't behind, that nothing important has passed you by. Everything that truly belongs to you is still ahead. 2026 isn't asking you to rush, it's asking you to breathe, to trust that you don't have to control everything for things to work out, to believe that ease is not a trap. This is a year where you'll experience small joys that heal big wounds, where laughter feels genuine again, where sleep feels deeper, where mornings don't feel heavy, and you won't question it this time. You'll allow it. Because after everything you've endured, kindness is not too much to ask for. It's overdue. You will notice it first in the way your body responds to life. The constant tightness in your chest will ease. Your thoughts will slow down enough for you to actually hear yourself again. You won't be living in anticipation of the next problem. Instead, you'll start waking up with a quiet sense that today doesn't require armor. That's what kindness feels like when it finally arrives. It doesn't announce itself, it settles in. For so long, you were prepared for disappointment more than possibility. You learned to expect less so it wouldn't hurt as much. You trained yourself to survive instead of enjoy. And no one really saw how much that cost you because you carried it silently and kept moving anyway. But this year is different. This year doesn't demand that level of self-protection from you. In 2026, you'll realize that you don't have to be hyper-alert anymore. Life won't keep pulling the ground out from under you. Situations will stabilize. People will become more consistent. And the unpredictability that once defined your days will begin to fade. You may even catch yourself waiting for something to go wrong, and then realizing it doesn't. That moment of surprise will happen more than once, and each time it will retrain your nervous system to believe that peace can last longer than a moment. This is the year where things finally move at a human pace for you. You won't need to rush decisions out of fear anymore. You won't feel pressured to say yes just to keep something from leaving. You'll feel secure enough to pause, to consider, to choose what actually aligns with you. And that sense of choice will feel new because for a long time you were just reacting. You were responding to emergencies, to losses, to sudden changes, to emotional demands. But now the emergencies are ending, and with them, the version of you that only existed to handle crises can finally rest. 2026 will bring a gentler rhythm, not slower in growth, but softer in experience. Progress without punishment, movement without chaos, expansion without exhaustion. You'll begin to attract people who don't require you to shrink or perform. People who don't confuse intensity with connection. Conversations will feel balanced. Support will feel mutual. And for the first time, you won't feel like you're carrying relationships on your back. This year will also teach you that you don't need to earn kindness by suffering first. You don't need to go through something painful to deserve something good. That belief was born in a season that's ending now. There will be moments when you reflect on who you were just a year ago, and it will feel like looking at someone else. Not because you've changed dramatically, but because you've softened. You've stopped gripping life so tightly. You've stopped assuming that everything good is temporary, and that softness will not make you weak. It will make you steady. You'll become more selective with your energy, not out of fear, but out of self-respect. You'll understand that not everything needs a response, and not everyone deserves access to you. And instead of guilt, that realization will bring relief. This year will help you trust timing again. You can see how things unfold naturally when you don't force them. How opportunities arrive when you're ready to receive them, not when you're desperate for them. And that shift alone will change everything. You won't be chasing peace anymore. You'll be living from it. There's also a quiet reward coming for the way you held yourself together when no one was watching. Not something flashy, something meaningful, something that brings stability instead of adrenaline, something that stays. You may not recognize it as a reward at first, because it will feel normal, and that's the point. Your life is becoming a place you can actually live in, not just survive through. You'll find yourself enjoying simple things again. A calm conversation, a productive day that doesn't drain you, a moment of laughter that doesn't feel forced. These are not small things, these are signs of healing. And as the year unfolds, you'll stop questioning whether you're doing enough. You'll stop measuring yourself against timelines that were never meant for you. You'll stop feeling behind, because you're not behind. You're right on time for a season that finally matches who you've become. 2026 will be kind to you because you've already endured what would have broken someone else. You've learned discernment. You've learned patience. You've learned how to keep your heart open without losing yourself. And now, life no longer needs to teach you through pain. Instead, it will teach you through peace. There will still be challenges, but they won't define you. They won't consume your energy. They won't shake your sense of self. You'll handle them with clarity instead of panic, with confidence instead of fear. You'll trust yourself again, and that trust will shape every decision you make. This year isn't about proving anything. It's about settling into who you already are. It's about allowing yourself to receive without suspicion. It's about believing that good things can come without taking something from you in return. You don't need to brace yourself anymore. You can unclench your jaw. You can drop your shoulders. You can stop waiting for the impact. Because the season ahead isn't coming to hurt you. It's coming to hold you. And after everything you've been through, that might be the most powerful shift of all.